I think that we will begin. Again, a very welcome and good morning to everybody, and good evening for those of you in different time zones. We are very happy to be hosting this webinar, which is one in a series of webinars that we are hosting at the Next 365. Today we will be focusing on electronic invoicing, and especially the new rules and regulatives that will be hitting us by January 1st. We have participants from, I would say, in many different regions, in many different time zones. And this meeting and this webinar will be recorded, and it will be available for everybody who has been attending this meeting via transcript afterwards. In a minute, I will hand it over to my colleague, Max Emil, who will be taking you through this webinar. Please feel free to send questions or comments in the chat. You are all muted, but you can send a text in the chat, and I will be entering the chat window, and also I will be helping Max Emil to keep the time. At the end, we will leave some time for questions to this. With no further ado, I will hand it over to you, Max Emil. Please.
I just got some technical issues with my PowerPoint, and I can't really share it. But give me 1 second, and I will see what I can do.
This is typical. It worked 5 minutes ago.
Yes, but then guess you can't see it, right?
Not yet, but
let me see. Oh, there you go. Here we go.
Yes. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. So my name is Max Emil, and I've worked for Next 365 for a year or so. And I've mainly worked with optimizing AP inside Dynamics D365. And what I've helped a lot of our clients with is automating their invoice processes, and especially those who are actually running e-invoicing and are receiving e-invoices. So I will also have some live examples of what's possible with those today. But if we go through the agenda for today, we have just a quick overview of what is EDI/e-invoicing. Then we have something about the EU e-invoicing directive. And then we have a bit of a short process overview of how to receive e-invoices. And then I'll go through why it's necessary to receive and send e-invoices. And then lastly, I will go over how to get started and what you need to consider it before you get started with e-invoicing. So just quickly here, what is EDI/e-invoicing? We have like 4 big topics when talking about e-invoicing. We have just what is an e-invoice, what's a GLN number, what is a VANS partner, what is PEPPOL, both the EN 16931 and then PEPPOL BIS 3.0. So what is e-invoicing? E-invoices refers broadly to any invoices created, sent, and processed in a structured electronic format, which could be an XML or UBL or PEPPOL or whatever. And these should allow direct integration into financial systems. Why I've said EDI/e-invoicing is because that EDI and e-invoicing is broadly used for the same invoices, so it's a bit blurry when talking about e-invoices. Some say EDI, some say e-invoicing. But what I want you to know is that when I talk about e-invoicing today, I talk about companies sending XML invoices over a network to other companies. So what is a VANS partner? Advance partner is a value-added network, which is a private and secure network that facilitates the exchange of business documents, such as invoices or purchase orders or any other documents between trading partners. And what these advance partners do is that they act as intermediaries, providing enhanced services on top of basic electronic data exchange capabilities, which could be validations of the documents, tracking of the documents, reporting, and also transforming different e-invoicing formats to other e-invoicing formats. And then what do we have? Like there are very many advanced partners in the game, so to say. We have Pagero, and then we have a lot of local partners, such in Denmark, we use TrueCommerce, and I think in Sweden they use InExchange a lot. And then we even have LaserNet, who could act as advanced partner, and even Xflow, if you want to, and many more. And then we'll just go to what is a GLN number. And in e-invoicing, a GLN stands for Global Location Number, and it is like a unique address for identifying a specific company. And it helps ensure that the e-invoice is sent to the right recipient within a business organization. So when you send e-invoices, you often send via the GLN number. And if we go through to PEPPOL, PEPPOL provides a standardized way for organizations to connect and exchange electronic documents using a network of certified service providers, which could be Pagero or Xflow or anyone else. And as you can see in this picture here, you have all the green ones is countries that are using the PEPPOL infrastructure, and all the yellow ones are using a local infrastructure, and the orange ones don't even have requirements defined. So in all of the green ones, they often use the PEPPOL format or something called EN 16931 compliant. But they also have their own local format. So for example, in Italy, they use what they call Fattura PA, but that is also EN 16931 compliant. So if an Italian company sent, for example, an e-invoice to a French company, it would actually be transformed to what we call PEPPOL BIS 3.0. But for example, if an Estonian company would send an invoice to Poland or whatever, it wouldn't necessarily be transformed into PEPPOL BIS 3.0 because the Estonian format is not EN 16931 compliant at the moment. But I will talk more about that when we go to the EU directives, which is now. So the EU Invoicing Directive. I will just start out by a small timeline of what has happened. So in 2014, the EU Directive 2014-55 EU was adopted. And in 2017, this European Standard 16931 was published. And then in 2019, it was mandatory for business to government cross-border transactions to be sent via EN 16900 compliant e-invoices. And then we have from 2019 to 2023 that we have some country-specific adoption, for example, Italy and France, where Italy, they use the Fattura PA. And then from the 1st of January, we have that Germany has said that it's mandatory for e-invoicing to be I'll just call it EN compliant from now on. That's easier. So to be EN compliant for all domestic business-to-business transactions. And then from 2028, there is a EU-wide cross-border business-to-business mandate called VIDA, which means that from 2028, everything cross-border should be sent in via e-invoices inside EU. So what is mandatory at the moment? So for domestic transactions within one EU member state, we have some country-specific for business to government. For example, a Danish company invoicing a Danish government entity must send via OIOUBL, but that doesn't have to be EN compliant because OIO isn't EN compliant but it can be sent over the PEPPOL network, so it works fine. And then we have some other country-specific mandates, for example, from 1st of January, where it's mandatory for German businesses to make all B2B transactions EN compliant. And then we have the cross-border transactions. So it's mandatory for public procurement, business to government. So an example could be a German company invoicing a Dutch government entity. Then they must comply with EN and send the invoices in PEPPOL BIS 3.0 format. And from now on, it's still voluntary for business-to-business transactions. So a German company can still send a PDF invoice to a Danish company, and a Danish company can still send a PDF to a German company. That's not required yet. But from 2028, there will be a requirement for cross-border transactions as well. So cross-border transactions has to be EN compliant. So that was short about the EU Invoicing Directive, because I've seen a lot of companies where they were a bit stressed that now they needed to send and receive EN compliant invoices. But for example, I saw with one Dutch customer where they actually didn't need to be as stressed because it was only for domestic transactions inside Germany. So a quick process overview of how e-invoicing works. The supplier sends to your GLN number. If you use a VN's partner, it routes, validates, and transforms the e-invoices to you via GLN. And then e-invoices is sent to a location specified by you as a customer. It could either be a SFTP server, a blob storage, or an e-invoicing portal. And then the customer, then you, receives the file on an agreed upon location and imports it to your ISV solution or your Dynamics, whatever it is that you're using. So why receive and send invoices? So we have the obvious ones, which are the regulatory requirements and the future ready. But then we also have automation. But let me just go into the regulatory requirements. So if you operate a legal entity based in Germany, then you really need to get started. And if you do business with government entities, then you also have to get started. Future ready. So for example, if you do business with German entities, there is a risk that German entities only want to receive and send e-invoices from 2025. It's not a big risk, but it is a risk that some of your trading partners might not accept that you only send PDF invoices, or that you only can receive PDF invoices from them. And then of course, if and when you get ready to import and send the e-invoices, you are ready for VIDA. So what is this automation about? So when you receive e-invoices, e-invoices, there's a lot of automation. So there's no scanning. You don't need to scan any PDF invoices. And when you receive e-invoices, you have a large quantity of data available. And this data gives you a lot of possibilities of transforming this data into stuff that can automate your AP processes. So what is data transformation? When you receive an e-invoice, you often receive it in a structured XML format, which could be this PEPPOL format. And then to transform this into something that your AP system can read, then an XSLT style sheet is used to transform the XML file to a desired XML format of your AP solution. And in this process, you can do a lot of different stuff, which I will show you now. And you have taken some real life examples from a customer that I've worked on. So here we have some examples.
Emil?
Yep.
So I think this is a good time just to, you can breathe in a bit. No, just kidding. There's a question in the window, and I'm not quite sure whether you answered it already or not. But it's yeah. Do you see the question, or should I read it to you? It's a Q&A.
You can read it to me.
Okay, so it says right now, what this gentleman is understanding is that for Germany, only AP invoices needs to be EU compliant, not AR. And how
both,
can, sorry?
Both AR invoices and AP invoices needs to be EN compliant, but it's only if it's domestic. So it's only if it's Germany to Germany and not Germany to other EU member states. If that makes sense. So you need to send and receive EN compliant invoices in Germany only. So a Germany to Germany company should receive and send EN compliant invoices, but a Germany to Dutch or Dutch to Germany doesn't have to be EN compliant.
Okay,
unless the German entity, of course, says that I don't want to trade with you unless you send me EN compliant invoices, which they are in their full right to.
Okay, thank you. And that's another question. Business is identified by GLN numbers, so VAT number is not important? Question mark.
Last minute I decided to include GLN number, but VAT numbers and so on can also be used to send and receive e-invoices. But it's mostly when you use a Vance partner and you use the PEPPOL network that the GLN number is used. But VAT numbers and so on can also be used, but that's a more technical definition, and that's something where you need your Vance partners and your trading partners to say what they actually need. But the best practice is to use the GLN number.
And do you know how a company get a hold of these GL numbers, Max Emil?
That's most often, I don't know in every country. I think in Denmark it's via something called GS1, where you apply for one and then you pay for it. But I'm not sure in other countries. It would be through your Vance partner, I would say.
Okay, good. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. So data transformation, we receive an XML file in a structured format, and then we use another XSLT style sheet to transform this file. So examples of automation. So here we have a real life example. We have an XML file which was received where, as you can see, you both have the VAT percentage, you have some kind of item number, you have item names, you have a street name, and so on. And then over here, it's a bit small on my screen, so I can't really see exactly what I'm pointing at. But for example, so down here, you have the XSLT style sheet, which transforms all of these lines into something that, in this case, it was Xflow, that Xflow can read. So what it does is that it actually takes all the lines in the documents, summarize it based on both what is in this external additional information. So if it's an F, it will summarize the line, and then also based on the VAT percentage, it will summarize the line. So I will just show you. And here in Xflow, we have something called attribute value map. So if on the line it says BU STG, it knows that it should go to business unit 4. And if it's BU STG, it would also know that, okay, I need the domestic purchase sales tax group. And then based on the VAT percentage, it also knows the item sales tax group. So this is what it actually looks like. So here we have an entire file with maybe, I don't know, 100 lines, which was automated and transformed into 5 lines with a pre-coding, and everything was just automated. So for this vendor, maybe 30, for this client, maybe 30% of all their vendor invoices were automated via these e-invoices. So that's just one of the benefits of using e-invoices, is that you have a lot of possibilities of transforming data and automating your invoices, so you don't have to code 100 lines manually, or whatever you would do with this invoice, for example. So what else can be done with these XSLT files? You can search entire documents for specific data. So for example, if you need to know, is this, because these XML files, they are structured, but vendors can send in their data in many different fields. So you can search the entire document for specific data. You can create specific formats for PO numbers, references, or agreements. And you can also clean these fields to ensure that they align with your formats. So for example, if you have a dash in the end of your PO numbers, you can clean those fields to not include the -1 or something like that. So you have a lot of possibilities of automating your AP invoices. So how do you get started with receiving e-invoices? So I have like 3 different stuffs that you need to be considered of. So what is your AP solution capable of? How many invoices do you receive? And in what markets do you operate? So if we start with what is your AP solution capable of? That is, for example, what invoice formats can be imported directly to your AP solution? Is it only a specific XML format, or can it directly inject PEPPOL invoices or OIOUBL invoices? That's something that you need to know from your AP solution. And is data transformation available inside the solution, or does it need to happen before? Does your AP solution have an embedded advanced functionality? For example, Xflow has something called e-invoicing configuration, I think, where they actually are a advanced partner, where they either use Pagero's network or they just use the PEPPOL network. And then you also need to know what import sources can your ISV or Dynamics import from. And here I have a small list. Is it a file? Is it FTP, SFTP? Is it a blob storage? Can it integrate directly into advanced partner? Do you use Microsoft Invoice Capture? Do you use the vendor portal? So you need to know where you can actually import your invoices from. Because your IT departments can have also a lot of insights into what they think is correct. So they could say that, okay, we need some infrastructure regarding this because we want all the files to be located locally or something like that. So there's a lot of different considerations that you need to have when you look at your AP solution. And then it's important to know how many invoices you receive, which is important to know in regards to the price estimation of your main solution. And why is it necessary to know in what markets you operate? So for example, with the PEPPOL network, you could say that, okay, if we only have companies inside countries where we just use the PEPPOL network, could we just use a partner where one size fits all? Advanced partner where we just send everything through that one? Or do we also operate in countries where we need some kind of where they have some local infrastructure, where we might need some local partners? And if so, if you have local partners where they use a different format than the rest of the EU, where they are not EN compliant, do we need some kind of local transformation platform where we transform the e-invoices that they send to us to this desired XML format of our AP solution? Or what is it that we actually need? So yeah, that was a very quick overview of the e-invoicing in Europe at the moment, and also a quick bonus information is that I think Australia, New Zealand, Japan also uses the PEPPOL network. So if you have legal entities in those regions, that's also good to consider that you can use the PEPPOL network. Yes, so I think that was it from me. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask them, and then we can go over them in these last 5 minutes.
Is there anyone of you that has posted some questions in either the chat or the Q&A that did not get an answer to your questions? You are welcome to speak up. or write a chat. There's one question in the chat, how to get a hold of us or one of us afterwards if there's any questions that you did not think about or did not have a time to answer. And in the chat, I put the direct email address to Max Emil. You are always welcome to write an email to us. And also I put in a link to our website where you can find all the region that we are located in at the moment, and also contact information for each of these regions. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us afterwards with any follow-up questions or comments. I don't see any more, Max Emil, so let's wrap it up. Thank you very much. And have a great day, everybody. Take care. Have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year.